Welcome to another episode of Life is Styn. Today we're going to be talking about manifestation and how to manifest properly, and also what manifestation actually is. There's so much stigma attributed to many of the facets of life that it gets so clouded and the truth becomes hidden and swept under the rug of dogma and ideology. Concepts rather than actuality. It's important to remember this. Um, I've always found it so hard to believe in something. And down the line, it's because I kind of realized that beliefs, they really amount for nothing. Beliefs mean you don't know. If you know something, then you don't need to believe in it. Knowing means there's nothing more apparent. And that's why I love this work. Okay. I'm not trying to make you believe in something or ascribe to a new doctrine or a way of life. I'm just trying to take away the clouds so that you can see the sun under the indoctrination and the projection of the world that others have imprinted in you. Okay, what I teach is more true for you than anything else, and it's present always. And it's something that you can be directly conscious of at all times. Like, God is just a three-letter word that men made up. And it's been so twisted and diluted, it has nothing to do with the actual pointing. Universe is the same thing. It's a concept of what you think reality is. Okay, it isn't what actually is the case. And because of this, it gets confusing. I seemingly contradict myself, but that's because when I talk about heads and try to show you heads, but in the last episode I talk about tails and try to show you tails, it seems like I'm contradicting myself, but actually I'm just trying to show you the coin itself. I'm not trying to show you heads or tails. I'm not trying to show you positive or negative. I'm trying to show you the coin itself. Okay? Like, some people are too hard on themselves. Some aren't hard enough on themselves. It's up to you to decide. Okay? I'm never going to tell you what to do. And at the end of the day, it's up to you. I won't share something that I haven't personally directly experienced for myself. And even if I do suggest courses of activity to you to do, it's up to you whether you want to do it. Okay? I just know what they've done for me. But I also know the trial and error of this path. Like, water hardens eggs but softens potatoes. You need to decide that for yourself. Now, before I get too lost, what is manifestation? Okay, manifestation is bringing into reality a desired result. First things first, you can never manifest from a place of lack. A lot of us are indoctrined with a poverty mindset that there's not enough, that we aren't enough, that we can't pay the bills, that we don't have enough money, there's not enough to go around. Whatever it is, go figure that when we live in that state, that it perpetuates our lack. We are so misinformed about how reality works. We think good things happen and that creates good emotions or a good life. Okay, but that is wrong. The feeling comes first, and then the universe will manifest that. If you feel like a victim of life and are sad and depressed, go figure that life reflects that. Life is a mirror that reflects you, okay? So chances are, if you don't like the world, you tend not to like yourself. If you really want to manifest what you want, it starts within. You have to hold the feeling of what it's like to be a millionaire or the version of you that you want to be. Know that all versions of you already exist, and like a radio signal, you just have to tune into that frequency. The whole reason we do certain meditations is to hold a state of being for a prolonged time. If life's throwing tornadoes and chaos at you, do you become the tornadoes and chaos? Are you pulled by the winds of life? Or do you hold a state of peace in your mind? How swayed are you by your external circumstances? Because that's going to determine your ability to control your life or to be controlled by it. With practice, I can hold a state of love, happiness, peace, even through a day of chaos and hell. And then the more often I can stay in that state that I desire, the more the universe reflects that for me. Tell me this: what do you want and why do you want it? Okay? Do you actually want it, or do you just want others to see that you have it? Now, let's say you've gone down the root, all the way down to the root of what you actually want and why you actually want it. Okay? How can I actually manifest this? Well, first of all, you can manifest anything in your life, even without action, okay? But action will help. The universe cares more about feelings and the state of mind more than what it actually physically desires to have. So, for example, if you want $1 million, don't ask the universe for $1 million. Believe that you have already received it and it will be yours. Okay, hold that feeling in your chest of what it's like to be a millionaire in your heart and being, and you will attract that. How do you feel? How do you live? How is your state of mind? If, whatever it is you're trying to manifest, you have to hold that feeling of being that person that has $1 million, okay? But it's also important to remember that you have to come from a place of abundance, not a place of lack. Now, of course, it seems crazy, and from somebody stuck in a materialistic paradigm, it seems impossible because you're like, well, if I don't have enough, then how am I supposed to believe that I do have enough? If I'm worried about paying the bills, how am I supposed to not, you can kind of see what I'm pointing at. But don't doubt, don't believe, just do it and see it for yourself. Okay. I've noticed in my reprogramming part of my work to switch from a mindset of I wish I had X and to switch from a state of I have X. Okay. To manifest on the outside, you have to start from the inside, not the other way around. Okay. You are so much more than this limited human mind and body. You are the awareness that permeates existence, but your beliefs stop you from seeing truth. I think about how many times in your life you were so sure about something and then you were proven wrong. Maybe that is the case in other parts of your life too. Okay. But now, why care about truth at all? Well, sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes we want to protect ourselves from pain. And when we do that, we wish to ignore the truth to save ourselves. But actually, we end up just perpetuating the state of suffering. Plus, you don't want to be deceived, right? You don't want to be lied to, right? You don't want to live a lie, right? So even if you tell yourself you don't care about truth, at the end of the day, you just want to be okay or happy or have the life you want. It sounds like truth has a big part of that quest. When you want to manifest something, you don't want to manifest it. You actually want the version of yourself that has it. You want the version of yourself that loves yourself and loves life. And you think if you have blank, that you will be enough. You'll be worthy enough. You'll be worthy of life, or that life is worth living. But remember, the thing that you depend on your happiness for will be the very thing you become a slave to. Start with your heart. Hold the feeling you desire in your heart, and life will test you. Life will see how bad you want it. Life's going to throw chaos at you. It's going to throw problems. It's going to throw, do I have enough to pay bills? Do I have enough to eat? It's going to throw tragedy at you. It will throw problems and drama. But if you persist and make life your bitch, it has no choice but to obey, because it's the law, and the law has no choice. What you hold in your heart will reflect. If you hold hatred in your heart, your universe will be hatred. If you hold love in your heart, your universe will be love. It's simple as that. Now, let's say you have poor control over your feelings and emotions. Do you let some simple, insignificant thing affect your whole day? If one thing goes wrong, does the whole world feel like it's falling apart? If you're easily swayed by external circumstances, just notice that. To heal it, you need to feel it. You need to bring it to the present moment and abolish it with awareness. That's all. If you want better control of your emotions, then you need to let go of it. You need to stop giving your negative emotions and thoughts so much power. Notice it, feel it, and just let it go. And if you can't let it go, you got to try with the small stuff. Letting go of stuff is a power, and it's something you have to practice. Okay, it's not something that's easy. And if it doesn't, just acknowledge it and feel it. Notice that it's just a feeling or emotion. In a nutshell, that's just mindfulness. Okay, listen, throw away any notions you have of meditation. What meditation does is it gives you control of your life and lets you see what's true. It calms down the mind that won't shut the fuck up. And or even if the mind won't shut the fuck up, you won't give it any power. Feelings and emotions are only as strong as you let them. Acknowledge that old thought patterns will arise, especially while you're trying to reprogram in your mind. After all, that's the defense mechanism that's been ingrained in you. Something bad happens, feel bad, feel mad. Your mind thinks this protects and prevents them from happening. And even if it's worked in the past, doesn't mean suffering needs to be a part of your mindset anymore. For example, there's a lot of times where you worry about stuff and you feel like if I worry about stuff, then stuff will be okay. So then you're like, I'm so worried about paying the rent. And because you're so worried about paying the rent, somehow it ends up working out and you end up paying rent. Your mind thinks that's because you worried about paying rent. No, no. It figured itself out, and worrying wasn't a part of it. But because you worried, your mind now thinks, oh, because I worried, things are okay. Okay, you can kind of see how that pattern creates a lot of suffering, but it's not necessary. The more practice, the more control you can have over your life. Okay, I used to be a victim to everything, and the tiniest things would set me off and ruin my whole day. And now, through my knowledge, practice, hard work, everything that I've done, my worst days are better than most people's best days. Okay, I'm not bragging or trying to make it seem like I'm better than anyone. Um, I have no desire to show anyone that my way of life is better than anyone else's. I'm just showing you that it's possible for your life so you can create the life you want. I'm not better than you, and that means you can become like me and hopefully even greater. And if you have any questions, reach out, comment, whatever it is. All of these videos I've done, there will most definitely be part twos and more I can divest in each topic. So just because this is everything I've covered in this video so far and that this is the end of it, it doesn't mean that I've covered everything about this topic. It just means I have said what I felt I needed to. And when you watch this and have questions or a need to delve deeper into different parts of information on the subject, then I can bring up things I only lightly touched upon or didn't even think about. It's called The Life of Styn because I can only share my experiences or others that I've experienced. But I'm hoping through my experiences, I can share that with others and that they can take that wind and soar even higher than I do. You are enough. You can have the life you want. You can become who you want to become. You can do anything, and I'll teach you the right way to do it. Or better yet, I'll show you how to discover the right way to do it for yourself. Okay, thank you for watching or listening. Please share with a friend or someone you think needs to hear this. And I hope that you have the day you were meant to have. Adonai.